Hello folks, Weggy here. Well, these things have become fairly popular, become fairly interesting and entertaining to watch, so I thought I'd chuck in my pound's worth and give you a little bit of the old Weggy history. Okay, without further ado, straight to the point. Question 1. When did you start riding motorcycles? 1982. Moving on to question 2. Why did you start? Because I had a love of motorcycles and I didn't want a car. Simple. Question 3. Which was your first bike and how many bikes have you owned? My first bike was not really a bike, it was a moped as we call it in the UK. It was a company called Motor Bacane who made a model called a Mobilette. And absolute piece of shit, but to be quite honest with you, it was cheap. It was 2 wheels and it got me on the road at 16, so happy days. Motorcycles I've owned are numerous. I've probably had about 30 odd bikes over the years, but just to run through a few of what I've owned very quickly, start from the top, an NSU quickly, a Motor Bacane Mobilette, a Suzuki AP50, a Yamaha RS125, a Honda 125 Super Dream, otherwise known as a Wet Dream, a classic little CB125S, the old single, banana coloured Honda CJ250, the old valve dropper, the Kawasaki Z250 Scorpion, Suzuki 250X7, which I managed to blow up completely after about 3 days of ownership. Moving on to slightly bigger bikes. My love of Kawasaki started to grow fairly quickly with the Kawasaki 400J and Kawasaki GPZ 550. Also owned a CBX 550, a Suzuki GS 550 x2, Honda CB 750K2, an absolute classic which I wish I still had because it'd be worth a few bob. A Yamaha XJ 650. Going back to the Kawasaki's again, all the bigger, moving into the GPZ range again with the 1100B1, also owning a B2, and then not so long after that purchased myself a Lawson replica 1100, a fantastic bike. A little bit latterly after that, a Yamaha FJ 1200, fantastic torque monster of a motorcycle. Then after that I took a bit of a break due to family and kids and so on and so forth. I came back to motorcycling 3 years ago and purchased a fantastic low mileage ZZR 1100, which I kept for a couple of years, but then it materialised that I decided to go for the bike that I've been hankering after for a good few years. The ZX12R, which I now own, was an absolutely fantastic machine, love it a bit. And finally in this particular list, a Yamaha XJ600 which I purchased last year purely for commuting and local hooning. So as far as that's concerned, that's my list of bikes. Right, should we move on to question number 4. What is your dream bike? Keep it straightforward. The bike that I've hankered after all these years, and I've loved them since I was in my early teens, a classic triple, the Levada Jota. Nowadays, if I had the chance of getting my hands on £10,000 plus, I'd go out and buy one tomorrow, but I haven't, so I won't. Okay, question 6. Have you ever fallen off? Inevitably. Anybody on a motorcycle is going to fall off at some point, mostly on wet roads, wet corners, diesel, you name it, gravel, horse shit, anything like that, anything that gets in your way, especially as a youngster. You know, it's a learning experience. You know, you get used to sort of, you know, seeing things before you get to them and riding in a manner where you can dodge them, get around them in the safest fashion. But as far as accidents concerned, I only had one, but you wouldn't even call it a major accident. I came off on a roundabout with my ex-wife on the back, on diesel, on a wet road, and completely wrecked my GBZ 550. Didn't do my kneecaps a lot of good, didn't do her a lot of good either, but you get over it, you get it sorted, and the best thing you can do, anybody on a bike, is to get back on as soon as possible, which I did. Okay, number 7. When did you start motovlogging? Well, as such, I don't motor vlog from the scenario that most people do. I enjoy uploading videos of rides. I enjoy putting videos up of meets and meeting people and the bikes and the bike shows and so on and so forth, with sometimes a little bit of commentary. And also the videos also from the live hangouts, which we do with the likes of Calm Biker, Wyvern Biker, Suffolk Andy, Infamous Biker, you know, Who Am I UK, so on and so forth. Them lads, which are always enjoyable. Okay, right. Question number 8: which motor vlogger channels do you follow? I don't necessarily follow any of them. I've got obviously subscriptions to the channels I thoroughly enjoy, and especially to people who have become good friends of mine. I.e. the likes of local lad Suffolk Andy, Skeggy Cruiser, Richard the Calm Biker, Keith Wyvern Biker, who else we got? Dave, Who Am I UK, Kev, Infamous Biker, so on and so forth, who we generally all get together on the hangouts. But also, you know, I have great interest in the likes of the characters Shade Tree Surgeon, fantastic guy. Lovely lady over in the States, Wheels Not Heels, and quite a few more that I could mention. Obviously, including some of the, you know, the bigger ones. RJ, catch some of his stuff, and so on and so forth. But you tend to find that you know, if anything springs up, sometimes you go through some of your subscriptions and they've liked somebody else's videos. You give that a look. If you like the look of that particular vlogger and his video content, then you go ahead and subscribe. You know. So that's the way it goes, but generally speaking, they're the main ones. Okay, question number 9. Does your bike have a name? No, none of my bikes have had names apart from one. They've all had the same name, and as if they don't start, it's called You Bastard. Okay, right. The last one, finally, number 10. Tag some fellow YouTubers to answer the same questions. Tag me by. Well, I'm not going to bother because most people have seen these by now, and if they feel the interest to do as we all have done and give us a little bit of history on their bike life and their motorcycle history, then fill your boots, go ahead. It's all interesting stuff and entertaining to everybody. Okay then, thanks a lot then folks. Catch you soon. Ta-da.